Hey guys, so I am back today and I have my very first guest. I'm so excited. I have my friend Leilani coming to join me. She is waiting right now in the little waiting room and we're going to talk about LGBTQ plus issues. We have so many letters in this community that I don't even know how to say it anymore. So let's get her joined in. All right, let's see.
Hello.
Hello. I started recording because I did a little intro. So,
Cool. Hi, guys. What's up?
hey, that's my friend Leilani. So, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Okay. Well, my name's Leilani, and I met Teresa in high school. We didn't really talk all that much. I mean, we were just kind of existing. We were just kind of like coexisting in the high school environment. But after I had my kiddo, she would babysit for me, and we always stayed in touch over Facebook. And I don't know. It seems like we're better friends than we were when we were in musicals together, which just seems kind of weird. But I'm glad it went the way it did. We kind of discovered that we enjoyed um, discussions, like just discussing like current events and current issues and stuff like that. I invited her onto my Spoon stream, and we just started talking, and we just have like a really good vibe when it comes to this kind of stuff. So we figured we would just keep rolling with it, and discuss new topics and
Yeah.
explore, you know, creating social media together or whatever. Creating media, not social media.
Yeah, creating content for social media.
Content.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we never really talked in high school. And yeah, and now I feel like we're way better friends now than we were in high school, which is just
Oddly
so
enough.
reverse.
Let me just dip out of this state, and then let's be friends.
Right? Yeah. How about you just leave the state and then I'll talk to you? Okay? Cool.
Yep.
So yeah, and she's the one who introduced me to to the Spoon app, which if you guys don't know, I mentioned it in my last video, but I just started like a podcast with the Spoon app because from my understanding that's basically what it is. And so I'm doing a live podcast every Friday at 7 o'clock Central Time. You can figure out what time that is for you, wherever you are in the world. And I just talk about whatever I wanted to. I have a lesbian pride one up and it is under my wherever you can find it. I don't remember right now. I should probably look where it's under and show you guys. Um give me a second here. I will find where it's under. It's there.
It's there.
It's there. It's existing. Oh, under my cast section. So it's right there on my Spoon page. You can go listen to it. And yeah, you guys should download the app because it's a lot of fun to be able to talk to you guys from around the world and get your guys' opinions on stuff too. And so here's my profile. It's at Tess Benson. And so, yeah, anyways, just had to put that little plug in for myself.
And I just wanted to let you know, we do have testimonies and like information from other people who are going to be discussing the same topic with us, so like the LGBTQ plus community. And Austin just sent me a message. He said that he's off work, and I told him to let us know when he got home safe so he could join in on our conversation.
Oh, okay, awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I
So,
love him so much.
quick intro on Austin since we just brought him up. Austin and I actually are in the same grade. Well, that's weird to say because we're both in college, but we were in the same grade. We graduated from the same high school class. He's gay, I'm a lesbian. And we had a computer class in college together. And I don't know how we honestly made it through because it was the two of us just messing around the entire time. So yeah, I'm really excited that he will be on. And so yeah, we're just talking about LGBTQ plus stuff in general. And Leilani has a friend named Xander who was first a lesbian, then a trans man, and we sent over some questions for him to answer. So we're just gonna get right into that, and then we'll see where this takes us from there. So
All right, cool. Let me see if I can pick out. He sent a lot of messages, so I'm just gonna see if I can pick out the answers to the questions.
Right.
So when it comes to Xander's story and his sexuality, he says that he is so he's identified when he was a woman, he identified as a lesbian, but he found as he grew that he's leaning more towards pansexual, um, because he's attracted to people of different sexualities and he's attracted to trans people. Um, but with kind of bringing himself up and becoming who he is, he says it was pretty difficult for a while. Was struggling to know what I was for a very long time in terms of being transgender. I knew for a long time that I was different. I started wearing boxers my sophomore year and I hated bras. So I wore sports bras up until a little bit after high school. And I've always hated my body, but not in a way like I'm too much of something or another, but I hated like my parts. He hated his boobs and he didn't like having them. I didn't know why, so I just shrugged it off for a while. But when I started going to Lincoln more, which is a bigger town, a bigger city in Nebraska, that's where I went to college. And I would say that Lincoln is a lot more diverse than where me and Xander grew up in a really small town called Wahoo. So, so let's see, just there's that background. Where was I at? Okay, when I started going to Lincoln more, I was introduced to a woman who was a pretty big part of me coming to terms with who I am. She met me and instantly knew way before I did that I was transgender. And I came out to my aunt first because she's really down to earth and has always been supportive of me. And I was able to come out to my dad about the same way because he's also been very supportive. But my mom, I waited a while because I wasn't sure how she would take it and I didn't want to lose her. She had been pretty rocky with me, just like in girls, and the fact that her oldest and essentially only female child um, was different and she didn't know if she could accept it. But she knew for a year about Xander's identity. She knew for a year before I told her because a friend's mother had asked my mom if I was going to have surgery to become a man. And that's how she found out because I guess her friend's mom found out before her own mom found out. So that was a little awkward. But Xander was pretty open about his sexuality and his identity with almost everybody aside from the people who he thought it would offend or hurt. So he was very open about it with his friends and even his friends' parents, it seems like, because they were very supportive. Just it was hard with his own mother because he didn't want to disappoint her. Um, and he says he doesn't remember exactly how he told her, but I know I just came right out with it. And she would still call me by my birth name and call me Sissy and whatnot, but she would introduce me as her son. And surely enough, she's been calling me Xander and using my pronouns. She still does occasionally call me by my name and stuff, but I don't let it bother me coming from my family, mostly because they're trying and they've known me as one thing for a really long time. My little brother has been making strides too. He asked if he could call me Mander for a while, and now he's finally getting used to calling me Xander. I came out when I was 19 officially, and my family between 2020, oh no, when I was 19, and to my family between 20 and 21 years old, not 2020, that was my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so that was really his story about like when it comes to kind of coming out and discovering his identity. This is Danny talking down here, if you can hear him.
That's her son. Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like he didn't really have a hard time coming to terms with who he was. It was just kind of figuring out where he was on the spectrum because he wasn't, I can't imagine like growing up that way like not really knowing who you are or what you like or what you want to be, because your gender identity doesn't go with like who you are. So I imagine you just kind of grow into a comfortability with yourself. I guess I wouldn't know personally, but I don't know, because you're told you're a certain person with a certain gender and you live a certain way. And yeah, it seems like over time he was able to really come to terms with who he was. And he was learning more about the spectrum and kind of nestled into his place, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can only relate to trying to figure out who you are and who you like. Obviously, I'm not transgender. You guys know I'm a lesbian. So I understand that struggle, but the struggle of just feeling like you're in the wrong body and then having to come out in that way and whatnot, I think is so difficult. And I can only imagine what that is like.
Okay, hold on. I think I'm gonna have to put him down for a nap because he's real cranky. So
Okay.
I just have to cut this part out really quick.
Okay. Yeah. We kind of then went into already the other two questions that we had set up, which was how hard is it coming to terms with who you are, when/how did you come out, and then what the hardest thing about being who you are is. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Leilani, to that. I don't know
sure. He just elaborated. He says, my voice is high-pitched. I have a lot of feminine features that I have to look at and be reminded on a daily basis. So it's like he doesn't like having a constant reminder of where he is stuck. Like he feels like he is trapped in a way. When I asked him about his pansexuality, because let's see, I asked him about his pansexuality because I didn't understand it fully, because for so long he just liked women, you know, so I just figured he just liked women. But when it comes, I was like, okay, so just kind of help me understand that. He says, so we both know that for the most part I love women. However, his partner that he's been dating for a long time, his name is Kai. He says, however, that is not what Kai identifies as. And honestly, when I first saw him, I genuinely thought he was a guy. So Kai, who is Xander's partner, is also a trans man. And Xander was attracted to him as a man, just as he would be attracted to him as a woman. So he said, if I were to date a trans woman, I would be comfortable with that as well. And I said, you guys just had like that immediate connection. And he said, we really did. We actually hung out until about 5 or 6 in the morning the night we met. And yeah, that's just really beautiful. So, so Kai identifies as trans masculine non-binary. So basically, he wants to have top surgery and start testosterone, and he wants to present more masculine, but he's comfortable-ish. He wants to present masculine, but he doesn't really want to be defined in a box, if that makes sense, because he still likes to dress up. He's kind of into makeup and cosplay and stuff like that. So Xander has like a really interesting story because he's a trans man dating a trans masculine non-binary. So yeah. he's like all across the spectrum there, but it's really cool. And he realized that he loves people for people, you know, and he really does love women and feminine personalities, but that didn't stop him from loving Kai from like the moment he saw him. So that's really nice.
That's so cute. I love how you mentioned that he was with somebody else who was transgender, non-binary and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's
really
really
interesting.
Here, yeah,
like because he started hitting on him without even knowing like that he wasn't physically a male. Like he didn't even care.
Yeah.
It's like, this is my person right here.
Right.
Austin said that he just got home, and so we can invite him in on the conversation if you know how.
Okay. Oh, let's see. I will send him an email right now. I'm gonna stop this recording in case it shows his email, or pause it.
Advice, and we will hear back from him shortly because he's already typing.
Okay. So the last
Right.
question we asked Xander was any coming out advice, and he should reply to us shortly as well. And we're waiting on Austin to hopefully come and join. I'm so excited to get to talk with him. I honestly haven't talked to him probably since we were in class together, which was probably a good year, maybe 2 years ago at this point.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So that's great.
He said that the email showed an invalid ID, so I sent him another invitation over Messenger.
Oh, okay. I sent him a new one too. There might be 2 in his inbox. There he is. Oh, I'm so excited. We're
So
still
exciting. Yes.
right. We got 22 minutes, so we can just go with this. Hey, Austin. Let's see. His audio is connecting.
Okay. There's on the mobile, there's like a little microphone button. Hold on. Microphone in left hand corner. There he is.
I got it.
Austin. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to talk to you because, I'm a lesbian, you're
Mhm.
gay, we're living in the same state.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions and we'll just see where this goes. We have like 20 some minutes to kill, so let's kill
Okay.
20 on
Just
minutes. Yeah.
really quick, Xander answered my question. He said with coming out, you don't have to announce it immediately. You don't have to do anything big. You can just start small, talk to your friends and work your way up to the family members that you're nervous about. There's no right or wrong way. And you don't have to feel like you're on a timer. You can do everything once you're comfortable and ready. That's what he says.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that advice. I would definitely second that. Would you second that, Austin?
I would second it to an extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be since we're there already talking about it?
And the question would be again.
Advice or insight on how to come out.
Well, so I actually never got to come out.
Mhm.
My family, my mother stole my phone and then looked on it. And then she told a lot of my family members. So I mean, the only people I really got to come out to were like my brother and my sister. But like extended family, like my aunts, my uncles, all the older people, really, I didn't get a choice. And it felt like the end of the world at the time. But honestly, I mean, this depends on everybody's family. But
Yeah.
mine were not okay with it at the beginning, and it really didn't matter. If I could be honest, it really did not matter. It was not like awful in any way. I mean, the feelings at first were terrible, but like looking back on it, I am luckier than most people.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I guess that's why I wouldn't fully agree with it, just because I never really had the chance to do it on my own. And because of that, knowing that outcome, at least for me, wasn't something that it didn't destroy me,
Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
you think it would be easier to just kind of like rip off the band-aid like it was done for you rather than going really, really slowly and trying to like cater to everybody's feelings, you know what I mean?
It
That's a good
depends on the
question.
individual, but in short, I would honestly think, ripping off the Band-Aid is a good way to solve a lot of problems. Not all.
Yeah.
And it depends on the person again, but I think honestly, it's never a bad idea just to do it.
Yeah.
I like that.
I would agree. I think because I definitely did not have that experience coming out. I guess to some degree I did. So I think I shared this on my YouTube video, on my YouTube channel. And I had a rumor going around about me in like 7th grade saying that I was a lesbian. And then I decided to go onto Facebook and confirm this rumor. Normally, if it was any other rumor, I wouldn't have given a crap. I probably wouldn't have heard of it in the first place, but for some reason this was the rumor that was brought to my attention, and so I came out on Facebook, and then I planned to come out to my parents because I didn't have my parents on Facebook. Still don't, probably for good reasons. Let's get real. And so I definitely planned out how I was going to come out to my parents, and at first I did a whole like letter to them, and then I deleted that letter and just sent a text message instead. So so that was my coming out. And Austin, when did you realize like you were gay? What was your experience with just figuring out who you were?
Well, see, I my experience, I guess, was a little inappropriate.
Oh no.
Can you
But
make it as PG as possible?
okay. I was a teenage boy alone with myself.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just put it that way. And I remember watching anime and pausing it specifically when the guy took off his shirt.
Mm,
And it
me
wasn't
too.
like any other thing aside from like kind of like clicking.
Okay.
Like, oh, that I guess that means I'm gay.
Mm.
Like, okay, this is what I like.
Why was that honestly me? Because anytime I see like a lesbian scene on TV and seeing girls make out, I'm like, oh, okay.
I do want to like input though, you know, before I had come to this conclusion, I was actually quite homophobic
Okay.
and very, very I'd call it pious in my religious perspective. And I think the first person you actually have to come out to is yourself.
Oh, for sure.
And it's insane the like inner transformation that has to happen in order for that to like really make sense. Like especially I know in like the male community, like we're not really allowed to deal with our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So having this like almost like insane denial eating you up inside before finally it just kind of snaps is like a big thing.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that from a lot of other people too, and I never, I guess, had that experience, but I know it's really common within the community, and so yeah, that's really interesting. Like I said, yeah, I didn't have that experience. I mean, I was 7 when I realized that I was a lesbian, and I know, yeah. um, and I had seen High School Musical because that was the time like High School Musical had just came out, and I saw Vanessa Hudgens, and I was like, dang. And it clicked for me. So in that sense, that's what happened to me. So how old were you when you figured all this out?
I was around 16 when I finally came to terms with everything.
Oh, okay, okay. So a lot
Hmm.
older than I was.
Yeah, yeah. I was always raised being told and being questioned if I was, you
Mhm.
know, high school rumors, middle school rumors, elementary school rumors. I like dolls. I like makeup. You know, I've been scribbling with like Sharpies on my fingers and stuff since I was a little kid. You know, I just wanted to play with hair and make things pretty.
Yeah.
And now he's
But
an amazing artist for
oh,
anybody
That,
who didn't know. Just
oh my
thank
God.
incredible.
Yes. He did an entire backdrop for Midsummer Night's Dream, which was the last play I ever did. And it
I
was
did that.
amazing. And I,
Thank
you're welcome. It's so funny because I just took, I'm doing a theater class online this summer, and we just talked about painting. And all I was thinking about is like, wow, Austin and his backdrop was just so incredible.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So I know Austin, I believe you're still in North Dakota, right?
Hmm.
So I really struggle with being a lesbian in North Dakota just because we have so many closed-minded people. We're a very Republican state, obviously, as
Yeah.
you know. What's kind of your biggest struggle with being gay up here, if there is any?
No. Oh goodness. Well, aside from finding a job, which is ridiculous, by the way,
Honestly.
and obviously the lack thereof, I guess, sexual partners. It's
Yep.
probably the amount of opinions given to you without like regard, like for like your personal stuff. And what I mean by this is like I would have people, and this is where I have to like tame myself as a gay person, at least in my perspective, is like people will ask me questions out of sheer wholehearted curiosity and concern, you know. Never, like, I would say only like 5 out of the 10 times, you know, about half the time I would actually deal with like a toxic like insult.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time it's just inappropriate questions based on like ignorance. Like they just don't know that they're being offensive,
Yep.
or they don't really recognize like, maybe I don't want to talk about this personal topic with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's always men.
Oh my goodness.
I relate so hard because yeah, I get guys on my Instagram DMing me, and of course they just want to have their way and send nasty pictures, and I tell them no, and they keep going with it, and I'm like, dude, no. So
Yeah. Well, there's a
annoying.
hugely toxic gay community in Williston. It's not healthy in any sense. You know, the community that's like actually striving to like create like pride events and stuff like that, it's great, but it's small, and it's not really made up of people of my age range.
Right, yeah.
But the gay community in Williston is like, it's full of, and I hate saying this, but like drugs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's full of again, like I said, you have to come out to yourself, and there's a lot of men that haven't done that yet. So they'll tell you to come over and, you know, do things, and then completely deny their sexuality in front of themselves and you.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, how do I say this? I've been with more husbands than I have anyone I've dated. And it's not out of like, it's not like half the time I don't know. But yeah, I know I dropped a bomb. I know, girl. And this is like a lot of the gay community in Williston, you know? We have to pretend like being gay isn't a thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just like mind blown over here. I'm sitting here thinking, man, Austin, you are in such high demand.
No.
Everybody wants a piece of Austin. Damn.
How are you getting these people when I have not been with one single woman in my 21 years of living?
Happily married for 5 years, and oh, there's Austin. Dang.
Gay hookup culture is something that a lot of gay men are exposed to at a very young age, and in a toxic community where it's not openly accepted, we can't express things like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So now not only are we like shoved into a box where we have to take things from a very sexual perspective, not like a romantic way. We don't date, we don't do stuff like that out here. And we put it all in that box, right? And then we turn around and now we can't express ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's this hyper masculine, like endless like cycle almost of these men that just don't, that are too scared to come to terms with anything going on inside, but at the same time like are being forced to like hide and conceal themselves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't like express any romantic interest because frankly, I mean, who knows what's going on personally.
That kind of like loops back to what you said before about like coming out to yourself. Like
Yeah.
these people just seem like they box up such a big part of their hearts on purpose, and they kind of refuse to acknowledge that that's who they are. And that really sucks. That just really sucks.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that's honestly the biggest issue in North Dakota. You know, people always have questions based in ignorance, and I choose not to get angry with them. Just knowing, because that puts a reputation out for not me, but the gay community.
Yes. Yes.
And I think it's actually the gay community in Williston that makes it very hard to be in Williston and be gay.
Yeah.
Not to turn the gun back on ourselves, but
Right, yeah.
No.
I mean, we are like in a Republican, I hate constantly saying Republican state, but that's what we are. We're a very Republican traditional state. And so, yeah, you know, like it makes sense that we are kind of like this. And it takes one to be here to know that.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, because
I
you guys
mean,
listen to this conversation and be like, no, make a really stupid trip up to North Dakota, Wilson, North Dakota, and then you'll understand.
it's just like I tell, like when I get out of town and I meet gay people for the first time, they use language I've never heard before. They do things I didn't know like you can do out in public, and it's honestly terrifying because you just like you don't think you can get away with doing stuff like this, and other people out in the world, it's so much change all at once, you know, like
Yeah.
like they're
That's
just
probably
free and
very
expressive.
overwhelming.
It really is, you know. I'm not used to people walking around looking like me, talking like me.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. And now this is just making me need to leave North Dakota for a bit to go explore like other gay communities.
Yes,
You should come to Rapid City. It's beautiful here, and there's pretty good selection.
I love South Dakota, right?
South Dakota, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there. I've been to Deadwood.
Deadwood is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, me personally, and like part of the reason I'm on this stream, okay, so like I'm not gay and I don't have a gaydar, but literally every person that I get along with so genuinely well, all of my best friends are gay. And so like you guys are really awesome and I really get along with you. And I don't know. So I was just here to kind of talk about the issues and like get to know the situations better, because I was talking to my friend Xander and I didn't fully understand his sexuality. He's a trans man and he's pansexual, and he grew up identifying as a lesbian, and I was like, well, I don't quite understand like pansexual, and so he like was explaining that to me, and I don't know. The whole thing is just so intriguing, and I just love love, and I love all my gay friends, and I'm just really happy to be here.
Right. Any straight person I've encountered, they're like, wow, gay people are just the best kind of people because they're so accepting. I'm like, well, yeah, we know what it feels like to be marginalized and to not be heard.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're
I
here
mean,
for
I
you.
don't know about you, but like one of the biggest insecurities I have is just like not being taken seriously.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I know that's definitely rooted in what you're talking about, being marginalized like this.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's just like, well, why should I, you know, believe you? You're wearing makeup, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And we were
Yeah.
talking about the whole thing where when you're first kind of starting to discover yourself and really be open or like coming out with yourself, how people, they look at you and they just kind of like shake their heads. They're like, you know, it's probably just a phase. Like you don't really know what you want.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Austin, but I get that all the time. Like, oh, it's just a phase. You'll get out of it.
You know, I think like we definitely do have different phases in our sexuality. But I think to like umbrella the concept of being gay for a little while over like all of like, you know, our sexual fluidity doesn't like it just kind of just validates us.
Yeah.
You know, it takes away a lot of like the meaning behind like what's important to us. You know, and it's so easy to do that just because we live in a really heteronormative world, especially out in Williston.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to wrap up this segment of this. We can continue talking without the recording. But I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit the bell. I post every single weekend. I usually post videos about being a lesbian, babysitting, nannying, childcare, acting, Broadway, literally anything I want. So be sure to hit that subscribe, hit the bell. Let me know if you guys want more guests on this channel. And yeah, all right. Later, guys.
Later.